Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I recently did a poll on YouTube and this was the video which was voted the most for. So let's compare the OnePlus 8 Pro and the OnePlus 9 in a camera comparison. And to start with, both these phones have excellent cameras on paper. I have tested the OnePlus 8 Pro with a lot of phones and you can go check all the comparisons out in the channel. And before we get into the UI as well as the photos, let's look at the specifications. On the OnePlus 9, we have a 50 megapixel ultra wide, a 48 megapixel wide, a 2 megapixel monochrome, and on the front we have a 16 megapixel wide. Now the OnePlus 8 Pro, the OnePlus 8 Pro has a 48 megapixel ultra wide, a 48 megapixel wide camera, a 5 megapixel color filter, a 8 megapixel telephoto with a 3x optical, and on the front a 16 megapixel wide. And that's with the specifications. The OnePlus 9 does not have a telephoto lens, and so let's see how that performs. Let's jump into the camera UIs, and I have screen recorded them so that it's easier to see. So on the left is the OnePlus 8 Pro with the normal Pro mode, and on the right is the OnePlus 9 with the Hasselblad mode or the Hasselblad Pro mode. Both the UIs look pretty similar and there is not much difference between both of these. They have everything except that the OnePlus 9 has focus tracking as well in its video. It has got tilt shift as an extra mode to the camera. The Pro mode and the UI of the Pro mode is slightly different to what the 8 Pro has, but apart from that it is pretty similar. And it will be fun to see how both these phones react with different environments. With that, this is going to be a blind camera test and I will give out the phone name after 5 to 6 seconds of displaying the photograph. If you want to pause it, you can do that as well. And let me know how many you get right down in the comment section. First, we have this extremely colorful photograph and I think the right one did better here because of the focus, and now you'll see the name starting to come up. So the right one is the OnePlus 8 Pro and the left one is the OnePlus 9. Now let's look at another image. Now here I think that the left one did better because of the colors. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. But the right has better clarity and the left is the OnePlus 8 Pro while the right is the OnePlus 9. Now let's look at another picture. This is where I find both the cameras to be really good, but I do prefer the colors on the left. So you have the OnePlus 9 on the left and right is the 8 Pro of course. Now let's look at another shot. Now here I like how the right has kept the sky and the detail in the tree. So I prefer the right one here and it's the OnePlus 8 Pro. Let's look at another one. And this is the telephoto lens this time. I will go with the left here because of how the highlights are as the OnePlus 8 Pro. But here there is a slight difference. So the OnePlus 8 Pro has a 3x zoom while the OnePlus 9 does not have a telephoto lens and it is at a 2x. Now this is the ultra wide and OnePlus claims that the ultra wide on the OnePlus 9 and the 9 series is much better, but I don't see any significant differences between both these photos. So on the right you have the OnePlus 8 Pro and on the left is the OnePlus 9, and I am okay with how both these phones performed. Let's look at another one, and here I would prefer the left one, and that's the OnePlus 8 Pro at 3x zoom and the OnePlus 9 at 2x. And according to me, the lack of telephoto lens is really showing in both these photos, so you really need one and the OnePlus 8 Pro has it. Now this is an ultra wide shot and I really prefer how the left photo is, and it has kept a lot of detail within the trees as well. So that's the OnePlus 9 and that would be my preference here. Now this one, both are pretty similar, but I prefer the right one and that's the OnePlus 8 Pro. Do let me know in the comment section which one was your preference. And now we've seen all the three modes, so wide, ultra wide as well as telephoto. Let's look at another wide and then we'll move on to macro. And in this one I prefer how the right one is doing, so that's the OnePlus 9 over there. And the OnePlus 8 Pro is also good, there is not much difference, but if you look at the corners, it's the right one did a little better. Now the next one is a macro, and I really like how the right one has done with respect to the colors. So I'm going to go with the right one, which is the OnePlus 9. And the OnePlus 8 Pro is also good, but it looks a little yellowish. Now this one, I prefer the right one again with a lot of detail, and that's the OnePlus 8 Pro. The OnePlus 9 is also good, but I do not see too much detail here. Let me know down in the comment section which one would you go with. Now this is a wide again, and I really like how the colors are on the left, while the right just looks a little bit yellowish, and that's the OnePlus 8 Pro on the right and OnePlus 9 on the left. Now in this one both look exactly the same, but I like how the right one did again with all the details, especially in the corners as well, and that's the OnePlus 9 again. This one is a telephoto with both at 3x, so now you will see the difference, and here I do prefer how the OnePlus 8 Pro has done, which is on the right. Now let's look at another one, and here we are looking at the telephoto again, and the right is a little bit more zoomed in, so it is the OnePlus 8 Pro at 3x and the OnePlus 9 at 2x on the left. Now let's zoom in a little bit. So we have a 10x on both the lenses, and as you can see the OnePlus 8 Pro is doing really well on the left and the OnePlus 9 is on the right. It is very grainy and it is starting to get blurred. Now let's look at one more shot. So the OnePlus 9 cannot do 30x, so I have cropped in the photograph, and the OnePlus 8 Pro is at 30x, and here it's a hands down win on the OnePlus 8 Pro. The telephoto does really well. Now let's look at the Pro mode and what's the difference here. So I am again going into screen recording, so you can see the differences between both the Pro modes, and I'm going to adjust both the phones at the same settings just for a test run and see which one performs better. So I'm going to keep the same ISO, the same shutter, as well as the same focus also. And between both these phones, and especially the Pro modes, I do not see such a big difference in both the phones, except that the UI is a little different on the OnePlus 9, but you still have all the functions of the Pro mode which you would get on the OnePlus 9 with the OnePlus 8 Pro. So it's pretty similar, and let's see how the shots turned out to be. So as you can see, there is not much difference, and I really would want to go with the right over here, which is the OnePlus 8 Pro in fact, because it has kept the tree color brown, while the OnePlus 9 on the left is a little dark. Next, let's look at some portrait shots, and the first one is the telephoto portrait, and I really like how both the phones have kept the details. So I purposely clicked a plant so that we can see how the edge detection is, and I really like how both the phones did, so I have no comparison here. And now we are looking at a normal portrait and not the telephoto one, and I do prefer how the left phone has done. So that's the OnePlus 8 Pro. It has kept a little bit of detail in the background, while the OnePlus 9 Pro has completely made it blurred, so you can't see what is there in the bokeh. And now this one is the tilt shift, which basically blurs out the top part and the bottom part, introduced with the OnePlus 9. So you have this mode only restricted to the OnePlus 9. I thought I'll put it in there. Nothing great. It can be achieved through a photo editor with the OnePlus 8 Pro as well. Now let's look at another wide image, and here both these images look exactly the same, so there are no differences. Let me know down in the comment section which one would you choose. And on the right we have the OnePlus 8 Pro, on the left is the OnePlus 9. Now let's see which one performs better with the night mode on, and this is without any night mode, so it's the white lens, and all I see is that the right one has messed up the top right corner, which is the OnePlus 9, and the OnePlus 8 Pro is extremely clear with the entire image. Now let's look at the night shift on, and again I see that the left image has messed up the top right while the right one is better, and which is the OnePlus 8 Pro. So the night shift on the OnePlus 9 doesn't do that well with respect to the focus area. It blurs out the subjects in the corner, and a lot of them. So I'll leave it up to you. It is a personal preference. Now let's look at a video. Now both the videos were taken at 4K 60 and they have been scaled down to 1080. And I like how both the phones are performing, but the right one is a little smoother with respect to zooming as well as the ultra wide lens, and that is the OnePlus 9, and the left one is the OnePlus 8 Pro. Now the OnePlus 8 Pro has an added advantage because it has got audio zoom, and now let's listen how these microphones perform. So I will keep quiet and you can hear both the phones. With that, I think both the phones did really well. I think the OnePlus 9 sounds a little bit better with its microphones. So that's the one which I will go with. And the OnePlus 9 also records 8K at 30 FPS if you're into it. And that's the end of the video. I think both the phones did really well. And for a 1-year-old phone, the OnePlus 8 Pro was exceptional with its performance. It went toe to toe with the OnePlus 9 in all scenarios. The OnePlus 8 Pro has a telephoto lens, and for some people it might be important. So that's the difference between both these phones. Do let me know down in the comment section which one are you going to pick up between both of these. And do subscribe to the channel while you're at it. As usual, thanks for watching.